The majority of you who are watching this have probably encountered the subject of today's show. If you haven't, statistically speaking, it's highly likely that you will. In fact, many men of a certain age will experience this biological buzz on a daily basis, whereas women may not produce this divine stimulant as frequently as men do. We may owe this fleshy machine, which we refer to as our body, thanks for providing us with a natural high that, for the most part, doesn't cost us any money. It provides some relief from the grind of work and the never-ending challenges in what can occasionally be a challenging life. Because of this, we honor the orgasm as a wonderful gift from Mother Nature. In this episode of the Infographics show, we'll get into the specifics of our gift and compare female orgasm to male orgasm. Let's look at why we have orgasms in the first place before we compare them. Of course, we are aware that orgasms can serve as a catalyst for coitus with another person. This gift makes that experience enjoyable, and as a result, we occasionally produce more people, maintaining the species' viability. But do all animals experience orgasms? Because we can't exactly ask a dog, a fish, or a proboscis monkey how it felt for them once they got it on, scientists aren't entirely certain of that. Scientists can tell that some animals do appear to have this biological carnal payoff, just like humans do, by looking at their vocal cords and muscle contractions. All female mammals have clitorises, and in lab settings, scientists have even induced orgasms in non-human female primates. When a monkey is sent to a lab for testing, maybe that's the best job it can get. However, they didn't specify how the testing was carried out. In other words, science believes that most animals engage in sex because of the sensation it produces. Animals may engage in orgasms for other reasons as well, such as power struggles and hierarchies, but being the recipient of one is undoubtedly the main incentive. Of course, we have no idea how the animal feels, but according to a scientist who spoke with Popular Science, it appears to be a very pleasurable experience for some animals. He said, "The bird shudders its wings and clenches its feet as it ejaculates. Who knows whether it feels like a human orgasm, but the external behavior looks like it when referring to our male feathered friends." According to popular belief, animals lack the mental capacity necessary to prepare for parenthood. For example, rats don't think while they're having fun that they can't wait to see a young rat cub take his first breaths. They enjoy doing it. Humans differ from other species because we are aware of what might happen if we make love if the conditions aren't right to avoid getting pregnant. But like humans, some animals also engage in sexual behavior. Some people enjoy indulging in their own pleasures, even though they may not fantasize as much as we do or spend time and energy observing others do it for their own gratification and increased stimulation. These creatures include, among many others, other primates, the animal kings of sexual self-gratification, elephants, walruses, bats, and turtles. Even some animals, like the wolf and the brown bear, engage in autofellatio. Generally speaking, humans lack that flexibility. Fans of orgasms are aware that it is enjoyable when it occurs. We experience euphoria, a contraction of our muscles, and then a period of relaxation. We also know that not all orgasms are created equal, with some feeling more like being mainlined into the ecstasies of chemical heaven while others feel more like a minor bump of pleasure chemicals in our brain. When our brain's pleasure centers are active, we feel what is known as neuromuscular euphoria. This results from stimulation, which can manifest itself in a variety of ways. Because it would take a long time to explain all the different ways one can orgasm, we'll keep this brief. As you are probably aware, This sublime sensation can be produced even by stimulating a nipple or another erogenous zone. When thought is the only motivator, some people even orgasm in their dreams. Even a condition known as foot orgasm syndrome exists, which you can determine for yourself. It's peculiar, to put it mildly, and reportedly unpleasant. But when a man's penis or scrotum is stimulated, something known as the pudendal nerve sends signals to the brain, which is the main cause of orgasm in men. For females, it works the same way when their clitoris is stimulated. When the pelvic nerve is stimulated, both sexes can experience orgasms due to stimulation of their rectum. The hypogastric nerve receives signals from the prostate in men and the uterus and cervix in women. When the cervix, uterus, and vagina are stimulated in women, the vagus nerve is activated. We could refer to these as the main bases. Your brain is flooded with neurochemicals when orgasm is experienced, and these neurochemicals activate what are known as the brain's reward systems. These incentive programs are what push us to complete tasks, such as finishing a job or running a marathon, in addition to having sex. The amygdala, cerebellum, pituitary gland, nucleus accumbens, and ventral tegmental area are just a few of the regions of the brain that are impacted by sexual excitement. If all that scientific jargon is meaningless to you, the Journal of Neuroscience merely informs us that, in terms of brain patterns, sexual arousal is comparable to what occurs in the brain when a person takes heroin. Thankfully, sexual stimulation doesn't cost as much and doesn't cause uncomfortable withdrawal symptoms when used regularly. Wouldn't that put a dent in our routine of masturbation? This orgasm typically causes men to release fluid through their penis, some of which may contain semen. There are several factors at play, but often a guy with enough testosterone can inject his own gunge into a female orifice or just into empty space. Arousal causes the male to grow erect because blood is rushing rapidly up the arteries of the penis. Blood rushes make the body rigid, and the remainder of the body tenses. Prepare for liftoff, Houston. While it could take some time, orgasm can start as soon as 30 seconds after the first stimulation. While certain body parts may be moving unintentionally at this time, the heart may be beating between 150 and 175 beats per minute. The pre-ejaculatory fluid that is secreted by nature now plays an ace card by altering the pH balance in the urethra to safeguard the incoming sperm. You guys know there's no turning back when it's time to take off, and this is known as ejaculatory inevitability, a beautiful term if we ever heard one. The muscles around the penis and anus will contract quickly. You might thrust your pelvis out, and all those chemicals rush the brain, possibly causing you to grimace madly like a lunatic having an ecstatic seizure. However, it is not yet over. After the nice come-down phase and easy come-down plateau that follows shortly, they will witness their member gradually revert to its earlier underwhelming form. Older men could need hours to go through it all again, although younger men can sometimes recover from this in as little as 15 minutes. There seems to be a lot of information available about the sensation of a female orgasm, but not much about the sensation of a male orgasm. As we previously stated, not all orgasms are alike. When one has orgasm for the first time with the love of his life, the feeling may be a little more strong than when one has orgasm for the 5th time that day with an experienced masturbator watching adult videos. His orgasms, according to one description we discovered online, are like a tickle that creeps up from every part of your body until you're anxious for it to end and also to continue forever, as if squeegees are scraping through your limbs. The vibrations, the shaking steel, and the blowback are all that remain after a gunshot that is both stunning and covert. That makes sense, and it's why many men during sex or masturbation will start planning the next round before the current round is even through. However, they frequently change their minds right after an orgasm. The brain is content, at least temporarily, because they have arrived at a satisfactory conclusion. We are feeling it once more, so we will desire to repeat the action repeatedly. Men are endowed with this, some might even say they were cursed, in order to keep the wheels of life turning. That's how easy it is. Now let's talk about ladies with that in mind. Even without an orgasm, women were still capable of giving birth. Why are women given this pleasant treatment by nature if they don't require climax in order to bear children? There has been a lot of study done on this. We should start by stating that 10% of women do not experience orgasm during sexual activity, orgasm at all, even with their own hands or special equipment designed for this purpose. According to some sources, the percentage could reach 15%. On the internet, you can read stuff like "I don't understand. Because I am unable to experience an orgasm despite really wanting to, I feel less of a woman. After having sex, I occasionally feel lacking." The biggest ever orgasm study, which Vice magazine cited, revealed that nearly 37% of American women required clitoral stimulation to experience orgasm, while 18% claimed that vaginal stimulation worked. In that survey, 9% of women claimed that nothing worked, including clitoris massaging, cunnilingus, pulsating plastic devices, and penetrating intercourse. A typical up and down rubbing motion with medium pressure, either using their own or their partner's digit, was mentioned by 66.6% of those ladies as something they appreciated doing on their clitoris. Science is divided on the subject of why women even orgasm. Orgasm, according to some experts, will help women locate a partner with better genetics. According to what we are told, the fact that women may orgasm will select out the weaker males because they may not orgasm with a man of lower genetic quality. Though not everyone concurs with this theory, in that it serves little evolutionary purpose, some scientists liken the female orgasm to the male nipple. Another theory holds that orgasms in women cause them to want to have sex with as many men as they can, which raises the chance of conception and encourages what you might call sperm competition. Others think that her orgasm will assist forge a relationship between two people, ensuring the infant has two parents. Orgasming in tandem is a really lovely thing, possibly even spiritual at times, and it might strengthen a couple's relationship. However, considering that many animals are hardly monogamous, this doesn't really mean anything. It's still up for discussion. Let's now examine the physiological processes that occur during a female orgasm. Women's orgasms can differ greatly from those of men's. Sometimes they may feel like they've been propelled to the moon and back, and other times they may be just a happy accident in an otherwise ordinary day. The woman will likewise experience a rush of pleasant hormones to the brain, just like the man, and she may also tense up, convulse, or display emotions that might even be considered ominous. We cannot speak for all women or all orgasms, once more. Though, we can observe what some women claim regarding their orgasms. "The thrill builds up and I feel it coming," one woman told Cosmopolitan. "From the waist down, there is a sudden burst of ecstasy. Everything is absolutely calm as the sensation spreads to my legs." As you can see, this sounds somewhat similar to what men typically say. However, as this woman describes, it can also sound like additional laborious work. It is like a warm. Your center experiences a tingling sensation that simply extends outward. It may be a frustratingly wonderful experience as you begin to build, lose it, and then begin to build again, growing more intense and frantic with each step. We may compare a woman to a more complex machine that needs to make a few more moves before taking off, and a guy like a rocket with a specific trajectory. That is accurate, according to the scientists, in that a woman's orgasm is more intricate. She could experience several orgasms or even so-called mixed orgasms. If you've ever been the sole source of such an orgasm, you know it can last longer than the male orgasm and be accompanied by a lot of shaking, involuntary convulsions, and possibly the man being gripped tightly as she enjoys her little moment of physical bliss. It should be obvious that women can experience both tension and relaxation orgasms. You are aware that this orgasm could be clitoral, vaginal, caused by G-spot stimulation, or even occur in other pleasant zones like the lips or nipples. They can be large or small, powerful enough to move mountains or barely disturb the status quo. One scholar said that, in contrast to men, women are capable of a wide range of orgasmic experiences that change as they age. A woman's erotic body map is a continuous process of experience, discovery, and creation, according to the author. Men currently sound rather boring and predictable. Additionally, it is said that during an orgasm and the build-up to one, women become more present in the moment and shut out the outside world. Does that imply, like some males, that they might be considering a future football game or how they are doing during copulation? Yes, if she isn't interested, that might also occur. However, if she is, we lose our normal self-awareness and consciousness of other sounds, feelings, and smells around us, according to one writer. This makes it sound more full-on, as if the woman is the rocket itself rather than the astronaut lifting off, which is how we might describe it. It sounds almost like an experience outside of the body. Additionally, it lasts a little longer, about 20 seconds, than the brief burst that the men receive. We are not all that dissimilar, however, in terms of what happens to our brains. Men and women both experience the same kind of heroin high, even if women may experience various kinds of orgasms and things may appear to be different existentially. Although men tend to be more easily aroused than women, the orgasmic experience is essentially the same for both sexes, according to Psychology Today. This entails increased heart rate, blood pressure, tense muscles, and the flow of the oxytocin hormone, which is associated with love. Nature created us both similar and didn't get too convoluted in this regard. We can be grateful for the sense it allows us to sympathize and understand the joy we can bring to each other. We both experience the same orgasmic love rush. Men provide orgasms more frequently than women, therefore in some ways, we are different. Men are just programmed to resist, according to the Kinsey Institute, even though some social taboos still hinder some women from enjoying themselves as frequently as they would like. Consider it a warm-up for the big moment when another beautifully formed human being's heart begins to beat orgasmically. What you think of everything is all we are asking of you. Please share in the comments. Also, don't forget to watch our other program, Your Body During Sex. As always, thank you for watching and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you again soon.